Japanese researchers ran a 5-month study on walking. 2 groups, same amount of time on their feet, same 30 minutes. One group just walked the way most people walk, steady pace, maybe a podcast in their ears. The other group walked a specific way. And at the end of 5 months, that group had lower blood pressure, stronger legs, and measurably better cardiovascular fitness. The steady state group barely moved the needle. If you're over 40 and you're relying on walking to keep you healthy, the next 6 minutes matter. Because there's a version of walking that's roughly 10 times more effective than what you're probably doing right now, and it takes the exact same time. It's called interval walking training. The study was published in JAMA, and I'll show you the protocol so you can start tomorrow morning. First, let's talk about why your 10,000 steps aren't doing what you think. Most people walk at one speed, the same speed for the entire walk. It feels productive. You're moving. You're hitting your step goal. You're probably listening to a podcast, which feels like efficiency. But here's the problem. Your body learned that pace in about the second week. Once it adapts, it stops working as hard. Your calorie burn flattens. The cardiovascular challenge disappears. You're moving, but you're not training anything. That's not a reason to stop walking. It's a reason to walk differently. Here's the protocol. It's brutally simple. Walk fast for 3 minutes, then slow down for 3 minutes. Repeat until you hit 30 minutes. That's it. Fast means about 70% of your maximum heart rate. You should feel like you're walking with purpose, but not sprinting. You're not trying to outrun anything. Slow means about 40% of max heart rate. That comfortable pace where you could still have a conversation if you had to. 3 minutes fast, 3 minutes slow. 5 cycles, 30 minutes. Most people who try it once say the same thing. That was harder than I expected. Because the transitions are where the work happens. Here's what gets left out of the story. You don't get fitter during the fast intervals. You get fitter during the slow ones. Every time your heart rate climbs and then drops, your body adapts. It builds new capillaries. Your muscles get better at clearing waste. Your heart gets more efficient at pumping blood. Steady-state walking never triggers any of that. You're asking your body a question it already answered. Interval walking keeps asking new questions. That's why it works. Now back to that study. Researchers tracked older adults doing interval walking for 5 months. Compared to the control group doing steady-state walking at the same time investment, the interval group improved resting blood pressure, lower limb muscle strength, and VO2 max. VO2 max matters because it's one of the best predictors we have for cardiovascular fitness and longevity. Higher VO2 max is strongly associated with lower all-cause mortality, meaning people with higher VO2 max live longer, from any cause. The interval group also had better knee extension and flexion. That matters because knee problems are one of the top reasons people stop exercising entirely. Walking this way doesn't just make you fitter, it protects the joints that let you keep exercising for decades. If you're over 40, your body is in a different situation than it was at 25. You're losing muscle mass every year, 3% to 5% per decade, accelerating after 60. That's called sarcopenia, and it's not optional. It comes for us all. Your VO2 max drops about 10% per decade after 30 if you don't actively work against it. Interval walking is one of the simplest interventions that fights both. The intensity spikes trigger adaptations that steady-state walking never triggers. And because it's low impact, the injury risk is near zero, which matters when you're talking about something you can do for the next 30 years. No gym, no equipment, no starting fitness level required. Just a path, a timer, and the willingness to push yourself for 30 minutes 3 times a week. Here's what the first few months actually feel like. Week 1. The fast intervals will feel harder than you expected. You might not make it to 70% on every interval. That's fine. Show up. Week 4. You'll notice you can hold the fast pace more comfortably. Stairs feel easier. You're less winded carrying groceries or playing with your kids. Week 12. The pace that felt hard in week 1 is now your recovery pace. That's when you know your VO2 max has actually moved. To keep progressing, increase your fast intervals by 15 to 30 seconds every 2 to 3 weeks. Your body adapts to whatever you do consistently. Stay one step ahead of it. Aim for 4 or 5 sessions a week. If you're starting from 0, 3 is fine. I want to be straight with you about something. Interval walking is not strength training. It won't build muscle the way lifting does. If you want to change how your body looks and functions after 40, the muscle mass, the metabolic rate, the bone density, you eventually need to lift, which is a whole other video. But interval walking is the foundation. It builds your aerobic base. It makes you feel less winded in daily life. And it proves to yourself that you can show up consistently for your health. That's the habit. Everything else builds from there. Tomorrow morning for 30 minutes. That's the entire commitment. You don't need new shoes or a gym membership, and your old playlist will work just fine. Walk fast for 3 minutes, slow for 3. Repeat until the timer goes off. Next week, I'm posting the exact strength routine that pairs with this walking protocol, the one that actually changes what your body looks like after 40. It's short, it uses almost no equipment, and it's built for people who don't have 2 hours a day to spend in a gym. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Prime Years Fitness. Getting stronger after 40. See you in the next one.